What's up, y'all? Welcome to another side quest. Today's adventure has us on a flight from the East Coast over the Midwest.
Seen too many faces for Starstruck. I was on the plane when you called me. Man, not from the heart, but it's all me. Maybe you could wake up on the floor. I don't preach everything I need. Look too far to see. I don't preach everything I need. Look too far to... Hey, I don't preach everything I need. Look too far to see. She gon' reach, her gon' be a hoe, me gon' be a me. Baby, please, you know how this go. Only one of me, baby.
I flew out to Chicago, spending a few nights in the Loop, taking the L train and CTA buses around the city to a few world-class museums. First hitting up the Field Museum and the Museum of Science and Industry.
When I wake up in the morning, love, and the sunlight hurts my eyes, and something without warning, love, bears heavy on my mind.
The icons of each museum, a 40-foot twister at the Museum of Science and Industry, and Sue, the most complete fossil of a T-Rex in the Field Museum. Beneath the South Dakota Badlands for millions of years, 250 of the 380 bones were discovered by paleontologist Sue Hendrickson. Jumping from the Cretaceous period in the Ice Age into the Space Age, the Museum of Science and Industry has many mission-used artifacts like the Apollo 8 command module, used in the first manned mission beyond Earth's orbit and around the moon. They show the evolution of rockets throughout time, a moon rock thought to be 3 to 4 billion years old, and the lunar module trainer used to train every moonwalking astronaut, including Neil Armstrong. From the surface of the moon to the heart of ancient Mexico, back at the Field Museum, the Ancient Americas explores the earliest civilizations in North America. My favorite piece of the exhibit comes from the Arctic coast, where a shaman is dancing and it looks like he's the first ever human to hit the nene. Onto the industry side of science and industry, the Pioneer Zephyr broke speed records in 1934, reaching a top speed of 112 miles per hour. Deeper inside the museum sits the first train to ever hit 100 miles an hour, right next to a massive miniature recreation of Chicago and the railroads that helped build the city. The exhibit follows a 2,200-mile journey across America. Freight and passenger trains share the rails as it winds through the mountains from Chicago all the way to Seattle. 2 years ago, I actually took this exact trip on Amtrak's Empire Builder. It's pretty cool to see a train you've been on chugging along in a museum. Back to the Field Museum, to the Lions of Tsavo. These brothers have no manes because of the heat of Tsavo and killed between 28 to 135 people. These lions drag workers building a railroad bridge from their tents and terrorize nearby settlements. The real skulls of the two big cats can be seen next to their skins. Standing in the lobby of the Field Museum are two massive African elephants locked in combat. On display since 1909, these elephants have been scrapping for 117 years. My final stops in the museums are flying above the model train set, a collection of planes, including the Wright Flyer, showing the beginning of flight. A precursor to space travel, Picard traveled up in this gondola attached to a hydrogen balloon, becoming the first human to ever reach the stratosphere. I'm guessing before Vegeta blew this John up. Onto the aircraft used in war. This Stuka German dive bomber was used in World War II for ground attacks throughout Europe, while this British Spitfire trails it, looking to add another dead Nazi to his side. My next stop brings me to one of the most famous aquariums in the world. The Shedd Aquarium, open since 1930. The Shedd holds around 32,000 different animals and is the 11th largest aquarium in the world. I start off my visit going downstairs to one of my favorite animals, the otters, before taking another elevator down to the Wild Reef, full of all kinds of exotic fish in a 100,000 gallon tank, with stingrays swimming around and the sea's greatest predators. Back upstairs, we can see South American penguins, usually found in the Straits of Magellan. The first time I've ever seen an octopus changing colors to camouflage. Watching a sea dragon drifting around his tank. And a California sea lion who's knocked the F out before we get to the stars of the Shedd, Pacific white-sided dolphins and the beluga whales. The Shedd has shows every hour spotlighting both of these animals, as well as huge underwater viewing areas to watch the dolphins and whales swimming in between and during their shows. Thanks for joining me through a few stops in the Shedd. Chicago's such a big city with so much to do, I'll definitely be back. But for now, that's all. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time. Take it away, Chaka.